Hello and welcome to a new vlog. So this is the color analysis reading vlog. So I will just start off by giving you a brief rundown of what color analysis is. If you just want to skip to the book reviews, feel free, man, go ahead. But basically with color analysis, it is based on your skin undertones. And it is separated into 4 seasons. You've got summer and winter, autumn and spring. So winter and summer are considered cool-toned seasons, and autumn and spring are considered warm-toned seasons. And then within each season, there are 3 subsets. So for instance, there's dark winter, bright winter, and cool winter. I know that there's other terms. People sometimes say deep instead of dark and true instead of bright, but whatever, there's 3 within each. So I booked a color analysis professional, and this is what they did. So they came and they had 2 fabric sheets that had 3 colors. One was cool and the other one was warm. So they held up the cool shades and the warm shades, and from that they determined, are you cool or are you warm? For me, they said that I am neutral, but I'm leaning towards cool. So then they decided, okay, you're cool. So we're going to check out the 3 winters and the 3 summers. Then they held up, once again, 4 colors of each of those seasons. And from that, she determined that the most flattering for me was the dark winter. But she said, because I am a bit more neutral, I could dip into, say, bright winter or dark autumn, which is the complementary sister on the palette wheel. Once she determined my type, this was all very quickly. The whole thing was done in 25 minutes. She gave me a little color thing. I've lost mine, but I'm going to show you my kids' ones. So you get this little color thing. These aren't my colors, but it'll just have some color swatches on there. And then on the back, they'll have some other palette shades that you could wear. They'll have your neutrals, which colors look the worst on you, some combinations, foundations and blush colors, eyeshadow colors, lipstick colors, metals. Yep, so that's jewelry. What shades of hair are the most suited to you, nail polish, and patterns. So these aren't mine, once again, these are my kids' ones. And then she gave a list of actual cosmetics to buy. So actual brands, this shade, this shade, this shade. Do I think it's worth the price? So in Australia, color analysis starts from $200 to $550. I went with the cheapest, which was for the 25 minutes. I wouldn't recommend. I don't think it's worth the money, because before I did the professional color analysis, there's a website online, I'll link it down below, where you just take a photo of yourself, upload it, and they'll tell you what your season is. And they said, you're a dark winter. So I got the same analysis. And then if you go on Pinterest and you write dark winter palettes, dark winter makeup, dark winter wardrobe, you're going to find everything that you need. It is not worth $200. It really isn't. You could also just go to a fabric store in Australia. We have Spotlight, and hold up colors of fabric to your face to see, because it's an instant thing. Once you hold a color to your face, you can see, does it make me look yellow? Does it wash me out? It's a very quick, oh, that looks good on me, that doesn't. I don't recommend the services. Personally, I think it's a lot of money and I feel robbed. But this was also the case with me. So with dark winter, the first question she asked me was, what colors do you get complimented on wearing? And I told her, and they are not in the dark winter palette, which is why she said, oh, maybe you can dip into bright winter or dark autumn. So with a dark winter, the colors are dark. So for instance, I know I look good in black and white. Those are the colors. And I'm just going to go through what they said. Then we've got khakis and grays. Okay, fantastic. She did not recommend yellows on me. The yellows were overpowering, and the yellows for dark winter are like so bright, like acidic yellow. It's not for me anyway. There are no browns, and I had to laugh because I wear browns a lot, but supposedly that's the worst color for me. But those browns are in the dark autumn color palette. And then there were the reds. So the reds that they recommend are very dark, deep burgundy, wine reds, things like that. Whereas I prefer to wear bright reds. Same for the pinks. The pinks on here are all like medium toned pinks, whereas I prefer hot pinks and baby pinks. So as you can see, I feel like whilst this is kind of helpful, take it with a grain of salt. I'm not going to stop wearing bright reds and hot pinks and browns. Personally, I still think I look fine wearing them. But let's get back to the dark winter colors. So then there are a lot of blues in here. I'm not a big fan of dark navy blues. There's greens, but on me, she said, because of my olive skin tone, most of the greens didn't work. They did make me look too green. Obviously, I'm wearing this one here, but this is a sort of blue green. And then purples. And I have worn purple before, but I'm just not big fan of the dark purples. My favorite color is lilac, but that's a no-go for me. We've also got some icy shades, and I've purchased one of them, but I don't know. I've always felt I look pretty naff in very, very pale icy colors. So we'll see how we go. My worst color I know is a beige. It's not great. It's not great on me. It makes me look like I'm sick. With patterns, she recommended bold contrasting geometric prints, and I have done that before. I don't love it. I feel like it's too busy. My preferred patterns are polka dots, stripes, and florals. Sometimes they're high contrasting, sometimes not, but mostly they are. Now with makeup, I also decided to purchase 3 of the recommended lipsticks. I'm wearing one of them today. So she recommended MAC lipsticks. This one is called Burning Love, and it's this, like, it looks very dark there, but I feel like it goes more pink. I tend to turn everything pinker than it appears. So even though this looks like a dark purple, I feel like it's more of a pink purple on me. And I don't mind it. I don't mind it. With makeup, they said no bronzer. You would have seen the previous vlogs. I did try that. I don't like it. I've put bronzer on today and I just feel like it evens out my skin tone. I think too maybe because I don't wear foundation. My bronzer is kind of working in that same vein. But I'm going to stick with the bronzer. The eyeshadows, they recommended things like purples. That was a major one. So we'll be doing a purple day. But then obviously like bright, pigmented, really deep jewel colors. So like this peacock, green, blue, whatever you want to call this shade. So I've tried that today. I think it's okay. It feels a bit dramatic, but they did recommend dramatic. So winged eyeliner and a bold lip. It was mostly bold lips, like put the color on your mouth, and mostly purple tinted shades, it seemed. But like the biggest ones I recommend are the really dark colors, and I don't know how I feel about them. I feel like whenever I've gone really, really dark on my lip, I feel like it ages me. So that's what I mean. I think this is a trial and error situation. Even though I've been told this is your color scheme, it might not be, well, anything in this works. I think you still need to have a play around. Not every color in your palette is going to work on you, and maybe other colors in other palettes might. So this is just an experimentation. What I've decided for this vlog is to pick colors that I have never worn before, that are supposedly in my color wheel. So this is one of them. I have never worn a blue, green like this. I'd love to hear your comments down below if you think the color worked for me or it didn't. I might even do days where I don't put makeup on with some of the colors, just so that this doesn't affect this. But I think for me personally, because I am a bit more neutral, like for instance, dark winters shouldn't be wearing like bright gold, but I wear bright gold all the time. I wear warm colors quite frequently. And I feel like that's a summer me thing. So when in summer, I'm a lot darker in skin tone, I feel like I can wear the warmer colors. In winter, when I get pale, I feel like the cooler colors are more complementary. So I think that's probably what I'll personally do. Cooler colors in winter, warmer colors in summer. But I'm just going to curate my own personal color swatch list. So like I said, hot pink is on there. Reds, most reds I think are on there. I think there's very few reds that I don't look good in. I think that's one, it's once again because of the olive skin tone in me. The green is complemented by the red because the red tones down my greenness. Black and white, khaki, you know, all of those colors that I know I'm just gonna curate my own little Chanel's personal color swatch list. And that's what I was hoping the color analysis would do. I thought I would get a personally curated list of Chanel. Eggplant purple is your color. Cerulean blue is your color. Like an actual itemized, personalized list. Like these are your wow colors, not just, oh, you're a dark winter, so here's the generic dark winter colors for you. I thought it would be a bit more tailored for the amount of money that I was spending. And to only see 4 shades in each season, that's not enough. That's not enough to determine someone's whole season by just 4 shades. It should be at least each of the colors, like a shade from each of the colors, not just 4. That was my personal opinion. Like for instance, V does not agree with her color, so she was given this bright winter as her coloring. Her favorite colors are things like periwinkle blue, sage green, earth tone, slate gray, like the most muted, gentle colors. And that's her antithesis, supposedly, as you can see. All of her colors to avoid are like her favorite colors. So she's just throwing it to the wind. It is what it is. I think some people swear by it. Some people think, nah, not for me. I am trying it out for this vlog. So this is the first shade that we're picking, and I've picked a book to go with it, which I have already read, and it is The Lover by Silvia Moreno Garcia. And I did rate this a 4 stars. This is a short story, but I really enjoyed it. It feels like a retelling of Little Red Riding Hood with her big bad wolf and her sexy woodsman. it's dark, it's twisted, it's brutal, it's beautiful. I really, really enjoyed it. So this was a fun little fairy tale retelling in the color of this green. So I will touch base with you when I've read the next color book and I'm showcasing the next supposedly complementary color. Dating wise, before I went on hiatus, obviously I liked a few profiles. This is the one tip I have for you. If you see someone's profile and you think for whatever reason, oh, they're out of my league or they wouldn't match with me, swipe right or send a like anyway. Seriously, it's not going to cost you anything either. They won't match with you like you thought, or they bloody could. So that is something that I definitely got over fairly quickly into online dating, the sort of thing, oh, they wouldn't want to match with me. No, I just was like, fuck it, just send a like. And so I've gotten a match from someone that I'd sent a like to, this absolutely breathtaking woman whose profile I loved. I loved all of the photos that she chose. She is one of the most beautiful women I've ever seen. But we aligned in a lot of our interests and our thoughts about things. And I thought, why not? Like, she's probably not going to match with you, Chanel. She did. She did. So I'm going to nickname her Beauty because, like, seriously, I'm a bit awestruck by her. And we're having fantastic fucking chat. So I finally met someone that is also skilled in the art of conversation. And I had to laugh because instantly after I replied, she mentioned that. She's like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm actually talking to someone who knows how to keep a conversation going. I felt like it was getting blood from a rock talking to all these women. I know how to chat and you know how to chat, and now we're just chatting. She has been very open and honest and has said that she's just come out as bi and she has not been with women, but she's very curious about it, but she's not sure if she wants to be in a relationship with a woman. And I appreciate all of that. I get it. So I'm like, okay, I will change my expectations of this being like, could this be, you know, future wifey? And just, could this be someone that I just really want to get to know as a human being? And yes, I do. I absolutely do. So she said, can we just start off friends first? And as a demisexual, who's by definition a slow burn person, it's like, yes, absolutely we can start as friends. I love taking the romantic pressure off something. So that pressure to be intimate with someone that you met on a dating app, I would love to just, hey, can we just get to know each other and see if we friends first and then see if there's any sort of possibility of romance down the track. That is absolutely fine with me. So even if I said at the very least, I wind up with another friend, that's fantastic. But I am very excited. That's the difference. I'm just very excited. We're just having so much great texting chemistry and that just fills my heart up. And it's just a further confirmation that finding people that I do have that chat the same way as me, it's just that further confirmation of matching energy. You know, if someone returns the effort that I'm making, that's the sign that that's someone I could invest energy into. So there are people out there that you just vibe with, even just online. There's a thing, there's a vibe, and that's the case. So we'll see if we meet up. I don't see why not. She's already asked, what's your ideal like first meet up date situation? I said, keep it very cash. No pressure dates. Coffee in the middle of the day at a cafe. Like, it's the most low pressure date that you can get. And it's my favorite because it's also when I have the most energy, 10 to 2 p.m. That's peak Chanel time. So I just thought I'd update you on that. I'll let you know if we do end up going on a date, but I'm just having a nice time. This is a nice time. Okay, I'm back with this color. What do you think? It's sort of like, would you call this a cornflower blue? But I don't know, I don't mind it. Like I said, at the end of it, tell me which color you thought looked good on me. What's my colors? Cat fight. Okay, so the book to go with this top was The Lady's Guide to Fortune Hunting. I think it's something like that. And it's about a down on her luck lady whose parents have died and she's got to provide and pay off the debts for all of her sisters. So she's off to find herself a rich bitch to marry and solve her money woes. And she sets her sights on one and she's doing pretty good. She's doing pretty good at getting him. But then the brother hears of a possible wedding in the works and returns to suss her out and decides that she's a fortune hunter and he ain't having none of that. And so they form a deal where he's going to find her some other poor schmuck to take for all his cash and leave his brother alone. So obviously it's a historical Regency romance. I read 150 pages of this and it was so boring. It was so dull. It was so dull. Everyone felt very dry. I'm assuming the older brother who's trying to stop her from marrying his younger brother and set her up with somebody else is actually her love interest, but I'm just assuming that because so far, 50% of the way in, they haven't flirted. There is no chemistry or heat between them. Nothing has really happened. She's just gone to a lot of balls and gone on a lot of walks, and he's just sort of, opening up mental files and all of the possible bachelors and how much money do they have. That's not enough. Pass, next. Oh, this one looks great. But no, he set his sights on a younger girl. That won't do. How do I get myself into the upper ton? I need lords. I need lord money because these other guys who only earn £2,000 a month, they won't do. They simply won't do. But it is so dull. And with historical romances, I like the romance part, okay? That is what I'm there for. I'm not there for the daily dues of the high society with no romance. Without it, it's boring. They just sit there and they talk a bit, we're ladies and we talk about lady things.
Will you be having cake? If they have a ladies' cake, then yes, but only if we are ladies, aren't we?
Yes, we are most definitely two of them, yes.
Oh, lady, would you do me the honour of a dance? Yes, sir, I would. Oh, how is your card? Is it filled? I don't know. You know what they do. But yeah, like the writing, you're not here for the writing. You're not really even here for the characters. The characters themselves are just not interesting people. There's no spice to them. And so because there hasn't been any romance, I decided to DNF. It was dragging me down. It felt so long. That 150 pages took me so long because there was just nothing of interest happening. It was just all talk. And I'm like, what is the point? When there's so many other historical Regency romances that you could read. Like there's so many, and I've read fantastic ones, 5-star ones. So I was like, well, this one at the most is feeling like a 3 at best. And we all know that I'm trying to get back on my DNF game. And anything that's feeling less than 3.5, especially 50% of the way in, no, it's out the window, it's gone. So that was the book for this colour choice. So I thought I was recording. I was not recording, so you missed out on Bluebell being an absolute cutie, and she was here with me. But what can you do, guys? I keep forgetting, Chanel, if you don't see the red, it's dead air. Today I am coming at you with this colour. Now, I don't know what you would call this. Sea green? I don't know. Sea glass green? Once again, like I said, let me know which was your favourite colour, which colours you think are not for me. But this book, oh, my brain is firing at exceptional levels today. This colour is going with the book Calamity, which is basically a romance sci-fi, which is what I call romance sci-fi books, because this is very much a romance sci-fi book. In this book, you have families who sort of like rule the universe. You've got like the top 10 families, but then you've got the top 5 families, the big guns. This book focuses on Temperance, who was part of a top 10 family, but has since been banished because she betrayed her sociopathic brother and she was renounced. And she has found herself a team of people and is basically a merc. So these guys get paid by other people to find shit or to scout stuff. And she gets propositioned by one of the top 5 families. I've forgotten the name, but it doesn't even matter. And when I say propositioned, I mean they tell her, if you don't take this assignment, your ship and its crew will seriously explode. And not only that, but a caveat we have is that you must take the eldest son from said family on board with you. So these top 5 families also really love genetically engineering their children. And what happened with her is she had a certain amount of engineering whilst, a baby, but the other specs and modifications that she was meant to receive when she was older, she didn't get because her brother was like, you're not going to get them, before she was kicked out. So most of these guys can like see in the dark, and they've got advanced strength and healing capabilities and all that sort of thing. They're just the peak of what a human can be. So she has this guy come on board. His name is Arcadio. And naturally, you've got a reluctant allies to lovers situation. You've got a lot of tropes in this. There's the typical, what I like to call the sparring scene, where they go to, train and work out, and they're like, do you want a sparring partner? You think you can take me? And then, they go at it, they get all sweaty, and then all of a sudden breathing each other's air. The 1 bed, 2 people. There's a lot of them in here, but they work. And I love instant hate flirting. I love it. It's one of my love languages. So that's in there very quick. Like I said, this is mostly romance, and I was here for it. But basically their mission is to go onto this planet and scout it for a type of metal that would be really lucrative. However, when they get on planet, there's this weird ass creepy cult, children of the something or other. And then there's another top 5 family there, which shouldn't be there. So it's one of those books where you're thinking, is the objective the actual objective, or is there something else going on? It's a high action. There's a lot of banter and flirting in between the action and the double crossing and the mayhem and madness and all that jazz. I loved it. It was fun. It's fast paced. There is sex in this. So look, I don't have a spice rating. I would say for me, like a 1 spice, a low spice would be something that just has kissing. You know, maybe a bit of over the clothes action. Medium is there is actual sex, like there was in this one, but it's not hella descriptive. You know, parts go into other parts and genitalia is named, but it's not, you know, it's not focused on. And a high spice rating for me is stuff that involves multiple holes. All of the senses are told. So you're told how it smells, tastes, looks, feels, you know, sounds, everything. It's very descriptive. It goes on for a little while. That is a lot of spice. So it's a lot of spice book. So this was a medium, middle of the road in terms of spice. There's sex. There's some other yummy bits too, but it's not super long or fleshed out, so to speak. But I liked Temperance, Anna, and Arcadio together. Arcadio, yeah, that was nice. It was nice. It was fun, guys. It was very entertaining, and it was a quick read, and it did the job. You know, not like I said, for me, like my rating system also for books doesn't have a rhyme or reason. Most of the time though, it is based on enjoyment. It's not based on the technical skill in terms of the writing or the characterization and the plot structure, or any of that, or the themes expressed. It's mostly, did I enjoy reading it? Did I feel like it was a good use of my time? In this case, it was fun. So I've given it 4.25. Like there's some books I do rate highly because I was impressed by the skill, and I wasn't so much like entertained by the subject matter, so to speak. But in this case, it was very entertaining. And I ingested it very quickly. Just read all the way. I was like, I'm not going to bed until I finish the book because I don't want to. So it's one of those books. But I will see you guys with the next color and the next book. Good morning, guys. So excuse the wet hair, and I've just put some lipstick on only today. So if it looks weird, it's because, yeah, I don't have any other makeup on, but I couldn't be bothered. Could not be bothered. So today's lipstick is called Del Rio, and this is what it looks like in the tube. But on me, I feel like it's actually quite warm. So it's sort of like a purpley brown, I guess. And I'm not sure about this one. We'll see how I go. This is today's color. So I think this is an orchid purple, is what you would call it. It's like a purple with pink tones in it. And the book that I've chosen to go with this top, oh, that's my daughter. Okay, I had to take a break to talk to my kid about something that's going on. I decided to take the lipstick off because I just feel like wearing lipstick without anything else on is weird. It looks weird. So I've just put some gloss on. And my lips are still burned from that horrible lip gloss that I tried that burned my lips. So that's fun. The book that I read is Longshadow by Olivia Atwater. So this is the third in the series. And basically in this one, you've got the adopted daughter of the two magicians from the first book. And in this one, you find out that she's able to wield both mortal magic and fairy magic. And in this story, she befriends some ghosties. She's trying to solve the murders of some girls. And along the way, she falls in love with a sexy washer lady thing creature person. This was, I think, overall a very chaste, sweet historical Regency romance that just happens to be set in a world of magic. I feel like perhaps the romance was getting most of the attention. It was lovely. It didn't really do a lot for me. They do share a kiss and one of them undresses in front of the other, but it was fine. It's definitely a queer romance in this one. For me, I was more interested in the mystery element. So who was killing the girls that were in this, who was abducting the sluas. I really liked those creatures. I know I'm not saying the word right. Welsh and Irish terms. I don't know how to say them. But in this one, there was the part I love the most. The slua's job is to guide the recently departed's souls into the afterlife. And before they depart the mortal realm for good, the souls can choose to gift the sluas something of theirs. So it could be their posh accent, the color of their eyes, the texture of their hair. They can give a part of themselves to the sluas, and I love that. That was so adorable. This book though, for me, it felt like it dragged. I think it could have been cut down. It did feel very slow, and it was a long read despite not being a long book. And I still enjoyed it. I gave it a 3.5, so I still had a nice time. But for me, the second and this third one aren't as great as the first book. I really, really enjoyed the first, and these ones were fine. You know, 3.5 stars is still a good rating, but I don't think I'm going to continue any further into the series. With this color, I'm not sure about it. I don't think it's doing anything fantastic. I think I've done the Dark Winter a disservice though, because I am choosing colors that I have never worn before. Obviously, a lot of the Dark Winter colors I do wear, and I do think look good on me. Like I said, the black, the whites, a lot of the dark reds, I wear them, they're fantastic. But for this vlog, I wanted to experiment with colors I never thought to wear before, to see maybe there's one out there that is a wow color for me and I just didn't know it. I'm not sure I found one yet. Like I said, I'm just going to see what everyone else thinks, but I've got 2 more colors to go and 2 more books to go. So we'll see if any of them are standouts. Okay guys, we are back with another color. So this is a purple color, and I've done the purple shadow. And this lipstick, which I forgot to take with me, but this is Ruby Woo. So once again, I feel like it's gone a little bit pinker than it looks in the tube. But for this color, this dark purple, I chose The Days of Abandonment by Elena Ferrante. So this book, you have a cheating husband who leaves his wife, and then we, the reader, get to drown in her spiral of a maelstrom of rage, heartbreak, despair, and depression. I will say that this was a very hard book to read. It was very, very heavy. Her emotions, the character's emotions, were so palpable, and she really wasn't a likable character before her husband left her, let alone afterwards, when she is just wallowing and drowning and in this sort of wave of self-destruction. She's just left absolutely reeling in the aftermath and falls apart. I will say that the writing in this is fantastic, and the author really is able to convey and make the reader feel what the main character is feeling. But I would not say this was an enjoyable read for me. There was in particular a scene where her son was incredibly ill and her dog was dying, and her absolute ineptitude and inability to take care of the lives of the people that she's responsible for made me so angry. I was absolutely livid, and it was so hard to stomach reading that. I just wanted to shake her and tell her enough. Snap out of it and deal with the situation. People are relying on you. Their lives are literally in your hands. This book also includes an animal death, which we know that I don't enjoy, and how it came about was not fun. So yes, whilst like I said, the author did a fantastic job with the writing and with the portrayal, I'd rather not have read it. I'm giving it a 3.25 because, like I said, it was still well done, but I didn't really take anything away from the woman's journey, and I didn't like anything about it really except the writing. So giving that one a 3.25. I don't think I mind this color. I think this color is actually not bad on me. I'm not sure about the makeup. Maybe I shouldn't have paired the purple eyeshadow with a red lip. That could be on me. I think the purple eyeshadow is also quite disco. disco. But there is one more color that I am trying out that I do not have previously in my closet, and then I'll give my thoughts about this whole thing. Hello guys, and welcome to the final color, which is a cool gray And I actually do really like this one. Once again, I'm wearing the lipstick I wore at the start with the green top, and I think that's my favorite lipstick out of the 3 that I've tried, and I'm glad I tried it. Otherwise I wouldn't have gone for such a sort of purple hue, but I do like it. And the book that I read for this color is When Wishes Bleed by Casey L. Bond. So in this book, you have humans and you have witches, and the land is set up in sections. You've got the royals, and it goes all the way to section 13, which is where the witches reside. And you have a witches council with head witches of all the elements, earth, wind, fire, and water. And then there's the Witch of Fate. So the main character in this, Sable, is the current Witch of Fate. Her mother was the previous one, but she was punished and killed by the witches for something that we're not yet told, and now her daughter is running it, but she's sort of an outcast from the rest of the witches. And she ends up being chosen to participate in the Crown Prince's Bachelor Games. Pretty much one woman from each sector is competing for his heart. Who will he give the raspberry to? But legitimately, this is insta-love. This is a very insta-love situation with this prince of black hair and golden eyes. So whilst all of the other women are vying for his heart, someone is gunning for his life because he went to Sable to get his fortune told, and she could see that he was going to die. So basically the god of fate resides within her and tells her things about people. We've got to save this one, we've got to kill this one. So she becomes his sort of personal bodyguard. There is a love triangle in this. Her longtime friend, who is lovesick, absolutely besotted with her, but she feels nothing. She's full friend zoned him, and that guy, he's trying to break free, but she ain't gonna have it. Now, I did love the magic system in this. I thought it was cool, the way the magic was worked, but I don't think overall it was executed super well. The villain in question, we're not really understanding of what their motivations were. What is it they actually wanted? What is it they actually did? And so the villain, or the big bad guy in this, was definitely a weak point in the novel. In this book too, there's a lot of talk of fashion. So if you like that, great, because there's so much talk of it. But the characters make a lot of dumb decisions. And that always frustrates me in a book. Like 1 or 2, I understand human error, but when it's one after the other, it's like, why? For instance, the main character Sable as well. This got on my nerves, but I am a type A person. She's given a schedule. So in this kingdom, there are cameras. It's very Hunger Games, capital kind of thing. And everyone wants to see the prince with the chicks and who's he going to choose. And so she's given a schedule every day. You've got this activity on at this time. Does this bitch ever look at her schedule? No. So every day you've got a constant scenario of her being somewhere, like a lost bitch, someone coming to find her and being like, hey, Sable, you're meant to be here. She's like, why? Why am I meant to be there? It's on your schedule every day. And I'm like, just read the goddamn schedule. Why are you being such a diva? Like, Jesus Christ, man. There's a lot about this book that also felt corny to me. Look, I've given it a 3.25. It was still enjoyable, but it did feel young. I believe it is YA. Let me just double check that. I don't want to be talking out of my rear end. It is YA. So it did feel young. I think she was 17. And like I said, it was very insta-lovey. There were a lot of tropes in there. And it did feel like The Bachelor crossed with a fantastical version of The Hunger Games. And it was fine. It's just a standard YA romantasy. But I'm always looking for a bit more. Like I said, this had the recipe there with the magic and the world building to go dark, to get interesting, but it didn't. So that was the final book. So I will now go through all of the books from worst to best, and then I'll talk about the whole color analysis experience. So we had A Lady's Guide to Fortune Hunting by Sophie Irwin, which was my DNF of this vlog. Then we have The Days of Abandonment by Elena Ferrante, which I gave 3.25. We then had When Wishes Bleed by Casey L. Bond, which I gave 3.25. We have Longshadow by Olivia Atwater, which I gave 3.5. Then we have The Lover by Silvia Moreno Garcia, which I gave 4 stars. And last but not least, my favorite read of this vlog, Calamity, which is the first in the Uncharted Hearts series by Constance Fay, which I gave 4.25. So with the color analysis, how do I feel about it? I'm not won over by it. I think my favorite, the color that I think probably looks the best on me is this gray, but I already have some grays Actually, I don't have many greys. I've got khakis. I have got very, very light greys, like almost white, but I think I might explore the grey color palette a bit more and see like, are there more greys that I think are complementary to my skin tone? I also didn't mind the purple dress. I think it's more to do with the dress than the color itself. Maybe it is because the color analysis person did say I did lean neutral and I do have olive skin tone, that I don't feel like I would only stick to true winters. I think I would probably definitely dip into the bright winter. As you know, bright red and bright hot pink are some of my favorite colors. I know they're in there, as well as the dark autumn palette, because I do like browns. And I think also mustard yellows are okay on me. I've worn them in the past and I think they're fine. So I think it's just, for me, it's a trial and error. I'm just going to try out a color. I'll keep a note if anyone does compliment a color on me and says, wow, that color looks great on you. I'll remember that and write that down. But yeah, I'm just going to curate my own personal color stash with the cool and the warm. I'm not paying much attention to that. Like I said, I've worn the warm hot pink lipsticks before and gotten so many compliments on those, as well as the warm reds. So I don't think it's just cool that looks good on me. Once again, I feel like maybe in winter, cool more, and then in summer when I'm quite tanned, warm. Same with the gold and the silver. But yeah, I think maybe this really works incredibly well for a lot of people, but for me, I just don't feel the need to restrict myself by certain rules. I feel like color-wise, I can just figure it out myself. I can go hot and cold and whatever, you know. That being said, I don't think pastels are great on me, even though like they're supposed to, the cool icy pastels supposed to be winter colors. They're not for me. I've tried them so many times, especially like the soft lavender lilacs, because it's one of my favorite colors. But every time I've worn it, I felt not great. The same as for like beige. I'd say they would be my worst colors. Like, you know, same to like very, very light apricots. It's just no. But if you do, let me know down below if you think that there is a color that you think might suit me, or you think, hey, I actually don't think you're a true winter, I think you're a this. Let me know. I'm open to everybody's suggestions and ideas. Like I said, I'm not holding true to any particular method, but I have come away with this with some nice lipsticks. I actually didn't mind all 3 lipsticks I bought, so that's a win. I am sticking with using bronzer. Definitely not dispatching of that, but yeah, grays, I'm going to look into that more, buy some more gray options, and I might even try the darker purples. I felt like that orchid purple wasn't really it. And also, yeah, the teal greens, I feel like it was almost there. But that was everything for this vlog. Until next time, stay wild, star child.